You're listening to the weekly Parsha podcast with Ari Goldwag, recorded with Hashem's never-ending assistance in Ramat Beit Shemesh, Israel, 5777, 2017. This week's Parsha is Parshas Mishpatim, and we have a continuation of what we saw in the previous Parsha. We had the revelation at Sinai. We had the Jewish people's experience of God speaking to the Jewish people, directing them, not just in the Ten Commandments, but we find out this week, we have the beginning of the teachings. Hashem, as it were, is standing as the Rebbe, as the teacher, as the loving father, as the loving parent, as the loving teacher, teaching the Jewish people the laws that for them will be that which give them a very unique relationship with Hashem and each other and the world as a whole. And in the middle of this, we're actually towards the end of our parsha, it's in Shishi, it's in chapter 23, verse 20. The verse says, Hinei anochi shaleach ma'aloch lefanecha. God says, I'm going to send an angel in front of you, l'shmorcha badorach, to protect you on the path, v'laviacha l'makom asher chinosi. And this angel will bring you to the place that I have prepared. And the verse goes on to describe what's going to happen, and it speaks about the fact that Hashem is going to bring the Jewish people into Israel. He's going to fight their enemies. He's going to destroy them. He's going to give the Jewish people the land of Israel to be their eternal inheritance. And in trying to understand the nature of this malach, of this angel, what is the concept of this angel? Is the angel a good thing? Is the angel a negative thing? So Rashi right away tells us on this pasuk, Hine anochi sholeach malach, kan nizbasru, here they receive the news, shasidin lachto, that they're going to sin in the future. Ushchina omers lehem ki lo a'aleh b'kirbecha. So Rashi gives us the opinion that this malach is a negative force. Really, Hashem himself should be the one who's going to lead them, who's going to protect them, who's going to battle for them. Just as during the entire time that they were inside of the wilderness, as long as they were traveling in the midbar, in the desert, so Hashem was with them completely protecting them, guiding them, giving them everything that they needed. But in the future, they were going to lose that, it seems, as Rashi explains, they were going to lose that direct connection, that open revelation of Hashem, and instead they would have a malach, an angel, which is obviously is just a messenger of God. So it's a lower level. They're going to lose that. How is that going to happen? So Rashi says they're going to sin. They're going to do something wrong. They're going to lose that special and direct relationship with Hashem. And as a result, they're going to experience a malach, an angel leading them instead of Hashem himself. That's how Rashi sets it up for us. And it's very interesting. Many of the Midrashim seem to say a similar thing, seem to say that the malach, the angel, is a negative force. But let's see together that it's not so simple that the malach is a negative force. And there's two Midrashim, or three Midrashim I'd like to share with you, that when we read them, it's a little bit difficult to understand what's going on. It's difficult to understand, we're talking about a positive or a negative force. And when we analyze and try to get to the crux, to the center of what's the issue here, we will see that the angel very well could be a positive force, a positive type of situation. Let's see together. We're now in Parsha Lamed Beis, in the 32nd section of the Medrash, in section Zayin, number 7, Davar Acher. Another explanation. Hinei anochi sholeach malach, I am sending a malach, I'm sending an angel. Hadahu dichsiv. This is what it says. Ani amarti Elohim atem, uvinei elyon kulchem. Originally, this is a verse in Psalms, chapter 82, verse 6. It says, Hashem said about the Jewish people that they are powerful, that they are mighty, that they are godly, and they are members of an exalted place. Bnei elyon kulchem, all of you. What is this referring to? Kishamdi Yisrael v'Sinai. When the Jewish people stood at Mount Sinai, v'kiblu es Torah, and they received the Torah, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'malach hamaves. An amazing thing. Hashem said to the angel of death, Al kol avdei kachav yesh lecha reshus. For all of the idolaters, for all of the nations of the world, you now have permission. You have permission, you can take their lives when it's the appropriate time. While umazo, when it comes to this nation, when it comes to the Jewish people, ein lecha reshus ba, shehem chalki. You do not have any permission over them anymore. The Jewish people at Mount Sinai, when they stood there, they entered into a state of Adam HaRishon Kodem HaChet, of the first man before the sin. He was supposed to live forever. The Jews, when they received the Torah, no longer did the Malach HaMavis, the angel of death, have power over them, but rather Hashem said, they are my portion. Kishem shani chai v'kayom. Just like I last forever, I live forever, kach bonai kayomin. So too, my children, meaning the Jewish people, live forever. Shenemar, as the verse says, it's in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8. Banchel elyon goyim. It speaks of an exalted inheritance of the nations that the Jewish people received. Uchsiv ki chelek Hashem amo. The portion of Hashem is his nation. Yaakov chevel nachlaso. Jacob is the rope of his apportionment, of his inheritance. So the Jewish people, they took on a certain aspect of godliness, which was, at Mount Sinai, they would no longer experience death. They would live forever, just like Hashem, as it were, lives forever. V'lo ritzisem, very interesting. The Jewish people were not interested. You didn't want. Elechi baltem asechem. You caused a destructive factor in your actions. V'amartim la'egel. And you said of the golden calf, Ela Elohecha Yisrael. These are your gods, O Israel. You referred to the egel, you referred to the golden calf as God. And therefore, just like Adam, you shall die. That's the continuation of that verse in Psalms chapter 82, verse 7. Ma mishtamshim besarim, af atem kain, shenemar hinei anochi shaleach malach. And just as the idol worshippers, the nations of the world, so they have malachim, they have princes who are in charge of them, they have angels who are in charge of them. I don't deal with them directly, God says. So too, I'm going to have a malach. This verse, I'm going to have an angel, a messenger I'm going to send before you. I'm not going to deal with you directly. Now, so there was an amazing level that the Jewish people reached when they got to Mount Sinai, when they experienced this amazing revelation of Hashem. But Hashem says to them, you need to know, what's going to happen is this level is not going to remain here. You're going to lose this great exalted level, and you're going to fall. And I'm not going to openly reveal myself to you, but rather there's going to be a malach, an angel, who guides you and brings you. So there's a few questions I'd like to pose over here. The first question is that we see, if you read the verses carefully, that there's a switch between the malach, the angel. It speaks about the angel, but also speaks of Hashem himself. It speaks about the angel going ahead and leading. The angel is a preparation. And then Hashem himself, as it were, comes in and he says that he is going to be the one. It's 2 verses later in verse 22. I am going to be an enemy to your enemies. I'm going to destroy those nations that are there. Hashem himself speaks that he is going to come in. He sends an angel ahead, but he himself comes in. So we need to understand, what does it mean that the Jewish people are going to lose a level, there's going to be an angel, but yet, if you read the verses themselves, it's very clear that Hashem himself is going to be directly involved in what's going on with the Jewish people entering into the land of Israel. So there's not just a malach, there's not just an angel, Hashem himself is there as well. So why are we speaking about it as if the Jews are losing a level? If anything, we see that Hashem himself remains connected to the Jewish people, perhaps even despite the fact that they've sinned. So what is the idea here? That's the first question. The second question is, it seems strange, the Jewish people have not yet sinned. The Jewish people have not yet gone down in their level. They haven't yet worshipped the golden calf. It's not going to be for another 40 days after the revelation at Mount Sinai. So why is it that here Hashem is telling them that they're going to sin in the future and they're going to lose this connection, this level of godliness? So let's continue in the Medrash. And there's another question in the Medrash, and then we'll see a different Medrash which really comes and explains what's going on here. Medrash continues. We find similarly, Shehera HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yaakov Sore Kol Malchus uMalchus. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God showed Jacob the angels of each and every one of the kingdoms that would exist. Shenemar, as the verse says, Vayachalom v'nei sulam utzav arza. That Jacob had this amazing dream, this awesome dream, where he saw a ladder and he saw the angels going up and down. Each of these angels were representatives of each of the different nations of the world. Herelo kama umos v'kama yiforchin v'kama shiltoinin oimdin mikol malchus umalchus. Hashem, in showing him the vision of the angels going up and down this ladder, was showing Jacob the angels of each and every one of the different kingdoms. And just as he showed that they stood up, so Hashem showed him that they would fall. The verse refers to the fact that they were going up and down. So the oilim, the going up, represented the fact that there was a malchus, a certain kingdom that would rise up, represented by its sar, by its angel. And that malchus, that kingdom would fall. So, Amar la Kodesh Baruch Hu alei afata. Hashem said to Jacob, I want you to go up as well. Amar lo Yaakov. Jacob says, Misyari ani. Shem eireid kishim sheyardu elu. Jacob says, I'm afraid that I'm going to fall down just like they did. If I go up, if I rise, if I ascend, I'm going to fall. Amar la Kodesh Baruch Hu. Hashem said to him, Al tisyare. Don't worry, don't be afraid. Kishim she'eni yored migdulasi. Just like I never come down from my greatness. Kach lo yata v'lo banecha yardim migdulasam. You don't have to worry. Not you, not your children, neither of you will ever fall from your greatness. Shenemar vinei Hashem nitzav olav. That's what the verse means when it refers to the fact in those verses that Hashem was hovering over him. It meant that Hashem was saying, you are going to also be standing, hovering as it were. You're going to be standing up and you will never fall, just as I never fall. Now the Medrash makes another statement, which is very difficult to understand. Eimasai, when is that? When the Jewish people are doing my will. But at the time when you, the Jewish people, said about the golden calf that this is your God, O people of Israel, and you left me, and you went in the ways of the idolaters, just like idolaters, their access to the spiritual realms, their power comes through angels. Afatem bisarim. You also are going to have an angel. Shenemar, hine anochi sholeach malach. As the verse says, it's our verse, I am sending an angel in front of you. So it seems again like the angel is a negative force. It seems like when the Jewish people sin, they lose their greatness. They lose their lofty level. They lose their ability to access Hashem directly and instead have to have an angel direct them. But the question here is, what was Yaakov saying? What's the reassurance of Hashem? Hashem says to Yaakov, I want you to rise up. I want you to get on this ladder. Yaakov says, me, but I'm afraid. These angels, they're going up and they're coming right back down. Hashem says to him, no, don't worry, you're like me. I'm going to make you like me. You're going to come up and you're never going to fall. But then immediately after that, the Medrash says the Jewish people did fall. They did lose that level. They did end up having an angel going up for them instead of them going up. So what's the idea? What's the Medrash coming to teach us? Is it indeed true that the Jewish people forever remain in a place like God, on top, as it were, in a place, in a state of going up and never falling? Or is it possible for the Jewish people to fall? It seems like they can fall. What is the reassurance that Hashem has given to Yaakov that he will never fall? So come and listen to this amazing, beautiful Medrash, which is 2 pieces later. It's in letter Tes, number 9. Hine anochi shaleach malach. Again, it quotes our verse. Amar la Kodesh Baruch Hu leMoshe. God said to Moses, Mishashimer sa'avais hu yishmor sabanim. The one who protected the forefathers, he will protect the children. V'chenat hamoitzi be'Avraham. Amazing thing. You find when it comes to Abraham, kishaberich es Yitzchak b'nai, when he gave the blessing to his son Isaac, Amar Loi, he said, Hashem Elokei Hashamayim v'gomer, speaks of the fact that God, the God of the heavens, Hu yishlach malacha lefanecha, he should send his angel in front of you. So we see in the blessing of Isaac to Jacob, it speaks of a malach, of an angel being sent before him. V'Yaakov Avinu ma'amar lebanav. And Jacob also, when he gives a blessing to his sons, to Yosef, to Manasseh and Ephraim, he says, Hamalach hagoy loisi mikol ra. He speaks of the angel which protected him from all evil. And that protecting force should protect these children, Manasseh and Ephraim. Amar lahem, what's going on here? The Medrash explains, he was saying to them, Hu ge'olani miyad Esav. The angel protected me from my interaction with Esau. Hu tzilani miyad Lavan. He saved me from the hands of Laban, who zanani fernasani b'shnei ravain. It protected me in the years of famine. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu leMoshe, God says to Moses, Af achshav, so too now. Mishashomer ha'avais, the one, meaning the angel who protected the forefathers, Yishmor Sabonim. Shneimar Hinei Anochi Sholech Malach. That one who protected the forefathers is going to protect the children. This verse, behold, I'm sending a malach. So it seems from this medrash that it was a positive force. It doesn't seem to be a negative force. Hashem seems to be saying, just like I had an angel who protected the forefathers, and the blessings that they gave included this angel, so too, you are going to receive that special protection. Somehow the malach represents protection from all of the forces of evil. And it's very interesting, and we need to understand why this malach is included in both of these blessings. What is the idea of the angel when it comes to a blessing? And the Medrash finishes off, B'chol makom she'hamalach nireh, hashchina nires. And this is, by the way, the key of what's going on here. Anywhere where you find that you see this angel, the Shechina, the divine presence, is not long in following. The divine presence will appear in that place, Shneimar. As the verse says, Vayira malach Hashem elov, belabas eish. When Moshe Rabbeinu had his experience at the burning bush. So it speaks of the fact that there was a malach, an angel, that appeared to him from within the fire. Umiyad, and immediately, Vayikra elav Elokim. God himself calls to Moshe Rabbeinu. V'lo od, not just that, Elo b'shar shetzayakim Yisrael lefanav, tov lehem tshua. Whenever the Jewish people call out to God, they're going to receive a salvation. Kach basneh. This is what was going on at the burning bush. Hashem says to Moshe, the call, the outcry of the Jewish people has come to me. You see by Gideon as well, that first an angel came. This is a verse in Shoftim in Judges chapter 6, verses 11 and 12. It speaks of the fact that the angel came, and then Hashem himself turned toward him. And then the verse says, Vayomer lech b'chachacha zeh v'shata es Yisrael. Go with this power and save the Jewish people. V'chein la'asid lavoi. And that's what it's going to be in the future time. When Mashiach is about to arrive, when the Messiah is about to arrive. B'shashigole ha'geula ba'al Yisrael. Shenemar. That at the time when the redemption is about to be revealed, this same malach, this same angel is going to come. Shenemar, as the verse says in Malachi, chapter 3, verse 1, Hinei yisholech malachi ufina derech lefonai. Very interesting. And this is the key here. That the angel comes and clears the way in front of me, Hashem says. The malach comes, the angel comes first. And then Hashem, his Shechina, his divine presence, is openly revealed following the angel. So we see here that there are two key core points that the Medrash is saying. The first is that whenever there's a tshuva, whenever a salvation is needed, whenever there's a trouble that the Jewish people are experiencing, heaven forbid, Hashem sends a malach, the angel is sent, and second, the angel's purpose is to clear the way, to prepare that Hashem himself should come and reveal himself openly in that place. So here we see in this medrash that the shita of this medrash, the opinion of this medrash is that the malach, the angel, is a positive force. It's a force that indicates that from here you're going to see that Hashem is about to reveal himself. And another example of this, we say this every week on Friday night. We say, Shalom Aleichem Malachi Ashares. On Friday night we greet the angels. Malachi Elyon. And then we speak immediately after, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim, who is the King of all kings, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's God himself. So whenever you see, and this is, you can look around, you can see that this is true, also by Avram Avinu, by Abraham, when he welcomes in these malachim, the angels come, but he hears the voice of Hashem speaking to him. Hashem is also speaking, the malachim are just preparing the way. You see that whenever there's a malach, when it comes to the Jewish people, and this is the resolution really of the previous medrash, because it could be, on the surface it seems like this medrash is saying it's a positive force, it's a good thing, and the previous medrash sounds like it's a negative force, it's a bad thing, it's because the Jewish people have sinned. But actually, I believe that we can resolve these two medrashim by explaining that Hashem is really showing us, whenever you see a malach, whenever you see an angel, whenever you see a spiritual force, that's not openly the revelation of Hashem. It's a precursor. It's a prelude to the fact that Hashem himself is about to show himself. It's a sign. It's paving the way, as the verse says in Malachi. Now, if we understand this correctly, so we can explain that the previous medrash, which speaks about the fact that the Jewish people have sinned, they're going to sin in the future. And as a result of the sin, they're going to lose that exalted level, that direct connection to Hashem, and they're going to just have an angel. So We asked, how is it a consolation to Yaakov? Yaakov is told that don't worry, you're going to climb up, but you're never going to fall. What do you mean they're not going to fall? Except when the Jewish people sin, then they do fall. So what's going on? What's the consolation? And I believe that the answer is that for the Jewish people, they have a unique way of interacting with Hashem. When it comes to the nations of the world, there's a ladder. And the angel goes up, and the angel comes down. It's rising and falling, ascending and descending. But when it comes to the Jewish people, I would venture to say that the ladder is not just a ladder, it's actually an escalator. It's an escalator, and it's an up escalator, moving up all of the time. And so even when the Jewish people fall down a rung, and for the moment it seems that they've lost their connection to Hashem, the escalator is still moving up. I believe that that is the pshat, that's the understanding of what the Medrash is saying. The angel for the Jewish people always represents a paving of the way for them to be able to soon realize their connection to Hashem. While it's true that the angel is less of a connection to Hashem, but look at Moshe Rabbeinu. Look at Moses' experience. He first sees an angel. The angel is what appears to him first. Gideon as well. The first experience is an experience not directly of Hashem. It's too much. It needs to be gradual. First we experience the angel paves the way, then Hashem himself openly manifests, shows himself in our lives. So there's a promise here, an amazing thing, there's a promise here. Hashem, in the Maimon Har Sinai, at Mount Sinai, God promises the Jewish people, I want you to know, even when you fall, even when you sin, I'm letting you know right now, even though we're in this amazing place, we're in this amazing direct connection, even when you fall, you never fall all the way. You're always still on this up escalator. And so when you fall, you're going to see an angel. That angel might seem like a negative force. It seems like a disconnect. But the truth is that the angel is always going to be bringing you back up. You're going to be climbing the angel. You're going to be on the way up when you experience that angel. And so that angel will be the first thing paving the way for you to come back into a relationship with me. You'll first see the angel, and then you're going to see my Shekhinah, my divine presence. Whenever the Jewish people are disconnected, find themselves in a place distant from God, they call out to God. In other words, their face is always looking up. They're always on that up escalator. They're always looking higher. They're always looking to the top of that spiritual ladder, just as Yaakov did. Hashem needs Savalav. Hashem was standing, hovering over him. The Jewish people are always looking upwards. The tza'aka, the call, the difficulty causes us to call out to God and to say, God, help us. God, save us. And so whenever we're in that space, whenever we're in that place where we seem to be disconnected, we're in the place of tza'aka, the place of, please Hashem, we don't see you. Things seem so difficult. From that place, Hashem shows us the malach. He shows us the angel, which helps us remember that we're on this up escalator and that the tshuah, the salvation is on its way. This malach really represents the opening, represents the beginning, the paving of the path that Hashem himself is going to walk on, as it were, in order to save us. And that's why, if you look in the verses, it speaks about, our very verses speak about, the malach goes out before us. It prepares the way, to protect you on the path. We're on that path. We're constantly moving. We're moving up. We're moving up this up escalator. But Hashem himself, I, Hashem says, that malach is paving the path, and I'm the one who's directly going to take care of you. Whenever you see that malach, it's a sign to remember that I am not far behind. And that's how it's going to be, God willing, soon. When Mashiach comes, when the Messiah comes, Hashem also, as Malachi the prophet explains, Hashem is going to send a malach. He's going to send an angel who will clear the path before me. And that angel is going to announce, b'mavaser, give us that amazing news that the Geula is about to come, that the redemption is about to show up, and that God is about to reveal himself openly to the entire world. So I want to bless you, and please bless me. Hashem should help us, that we should be able to recognize those malachim, those angels, the indicators, indeed, that we are on our way up, that we're on an up escalator. And then Hashem should help us to be able to receive not just the angels, but the divine presence itself. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbos. This podcast was made possible through the gracious donations of listeners like you. For more podcasts like this, please visit www.arigoldwag.com or search on iTunes Ari Goldwag.